Ashley, what was that play that you went to this week?
I went to see a play about Jeanette Rankin, who was the first woman elected to any, she was elected to Congress. She was the first woman elected to any legislative body anywhere, even before the 15th Amendment was ratified. It was so fascinating. She's so fierce. And it was super inspiring.
Well, that is the kind of fierce women that we love, right?
Yeah, we
And
do.
speaking of fierce women, today's guest literally wrote the book on that kind of storytelling, but on LinkedIn. Isn't
I'm
that
so
crazy?
excited.
Me too. Welcome to Authors Aloud, where we love talking to authors about the stories behind their stories.
Julie Wanzer is a marketing strategist, speaker, and the author of Get Them to Care, which is all about how to actually make people care about your work on LinkedIn.
Which, to be totally honest, most of us need. I know I certainly need. I'm very excited about this conversation. So welcome, Julie.
Welcome, Julie.
Hi, thank you for having me this morning, ladies. How are you?
We're doing very, very well. We're going to jump right in.
I love it. Let's do it.
Wonderful.
All
Y-
things LinkedIn.
Good. You've worked with huge companies. When did you realize that storytelling was the missing piece?
Honestly, I think so I specialize in design and construction. So a lot of that industry kind of is missing the mark on storytelling, right? And honestly, this kind of happened through COVID, right? Where we didn't have events. There was no way to meet new people and tell your story. So it was like everyone's on a platform. And for me, that was LinkedIn, and kind of found my niche, my people, right? And once everyone's there, they're like, oh, what do we do? Right. So in order to kind of help tell stories and give a platform where, again, people aren't really going to your company's websites anymore, right?
Sure.
Like
Mhm.
it's not trackable, but people are on their phones constantly. LinkedIn's a huge app. And while they're in LinkedIn, there's no reason why you can't be telling your own company's story and your own personal story. So that's kind of where the book took place, gave birth, and it kind of wrote itself from there to really make sure that these companies are not relying on just their websites. They need to have that other platform, a professional platform, not just Facebook, or I don't know, we can call Facebook professional or not. That's a different podcast. Um, but just making sure that the companies at least have a presence there, because that's where people are, and all of those things. So I think it's a great way to get that out there.
What a great outside the box way of thinking of that. I'd never thought of it that way before. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Kind of.
Yeah.
And again, love COVID, hate COVID, but that's, it was a result that came out of it. So
Yeah.
Julie, what do you see as the biggest mistake professionals are making on their personal LinkedIn profiles?
it's a great question, Ashley. And for me, I think they're not being personal, right? Like LinkedIn is still made up of people, right? You have your personal profile and you got to give it up, right? Like you got to reveal
Mhm.
things about yourself, make it more personal, just beyond, I'm a marketing manager at XYZ company. No, what do you actually do, right? So I like to work with professionals to make sure that they are actually saying and telling things about themselves. Because at the end of the day, Ashley, I'm sure you know this, everyone's looking for a connection, right? So LinkedIn connection, LinkedIn. Oh, I love it. Little play there. Um, because if you don't, so for instance, like I, obviously network, meet with a lot of people, and I do a little creeper people search on LinkedIn, right? Before I meet someone, to make sure that in that coffee shop, I'm meeting the right person. I've done that before. Meeting, hey, I'm Julie, not my person. But I make a practice, right, to look at their LinkedIn profile before meeting with someone to see where I have a connection with them, whether it's like, I went to school with them, or maybe I'm involved in the same association or something similar. Just again to have that little nugget, right, where to build that base, that foundation for, a professional networking relationship, right? So it's kind of, if you don't reveal things about yourself, then how can people connect with you, right? So being
Right.
able to do it in a professional manner online, I think, is super important.
And what you bring up is really interesting there. So we have business, right? We think of business as business, right?
Yes.
We've got business. And
Very
I have historically not fit well in a business situation. People don't get me, they don't get my sense of humor, those kinds of things. And so how can a person that is in this business world sound human when they're writing?
Ooh.
I would
Well,
also argue, Kristen, that makes you like the most fun person in the office. So
right? Exactly. Yes.
Well,
you're
in
everyone's
some
favorite coworker.
situations, it was a lot of this. What?
Well, well, but Kristen, you found your people, right? Like not everyone is
Eventually.
meant, right, to
Sure, I
fit in
did.
corporate
Yes, I
business
did.
world because blah blah blah. That's boring.
Yeah, my VA and my audio are definitely my people.
And see, that's where you do shine. So, well, Kristen, let's take you for an example. If now that you found your people, right, my audio, I would write that from a first person and start posting about that, right? Like you have to not only have a profile where people can find you and reveal things about you to find that connection, but
Mhm.
also too, you got to share, right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm not seeing, hey, where you're going, what podcast you've recorded this morning, or kind of things that you are passionate about and caring about, and it's not coming up kind of in my LinkedIn feed, then I feel like I'm not getting to know you as well, Kristen, right? So,
Interesting. Interesting. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
right. So, and I think someone who's really great, and actually, you know her very well, Kat O'Shaughnessy. She
Yeah. Oh,
does an
she's brilliant.
amazing,
She's amazing.
brilliant,
So fascinating.
right? Like
Yeah, it's
all the
Catelyn
things.
O'Shaughnessy.
Catlin, yes,
Everyone should follow her. She's a
yes,
copywriter. She's brilliant.
yes.
She gave me some of the best advice ever, which it was don't be precious about it. And she was talking about like,
Ooh,
like don't overthink things, just put it on LinkedIn.
right,
And actually, it's
exactly.
amazing advice for everything. Don't be
Yeah.
precious about it. Like
No,
stop this nonsense. You think you're
It's
so special.
very
Just do the
easy to be
thing and
precious.
get
right,
over it. Get over
exactly.
yourself. This will be fine.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
and be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
I think, the, majority of, what I'm finding in my posting, and then obviously Catlin and others, is that the more personal you get, yeah, it can be a little scary, you're putting it out into the LinkedIn world, but more people will connect with you, right? They'll see that, "Oh, she is human," right? Like, we make mistakes. For me, I recently posted about I still get uncomfortable networking in person, right? Like I'm very warm, gregarious, but it takes me a lot, right, to get there. So to be able to share that and say, hey, like I even train my clients on how to network, but I still get uncomfortable, right? And so
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
that connection point. And to me, once you reveal again your flaws and things that maybe you're not the best at and share that with others, again, we're all human, right? And I think it's a business case to make LinkedIn more human, right?
I
You
love
guys
it.
are like
Fireworks going off,
literally,
Kristen.
well, it's not even fireworks. You're completely blowing my mind
Well,
because this is
I think
what
it's
I've
such
been
great business
struggling
advice
with.
too, because everyone says like keep it very professional, and people get so upset at Kat O'Shaughnessy too that they're like, oh, and she's sharing deeply personal. Like I think about the things she writes for weeks afterwards; they're so
Yes,
moving. But
right?
everyone is like, oh, this is not Facebook. It's supposed to be so professional. Like, ugh, I don't want to interact with any cardboard cutouts of
Right?
humans. I want to
Right, yeah,
interact with a
no,
whole human.
Yeah.
exactly, right? And I think too, like she, once she gets that backlash, she handles it so well too. I love it. Like,
Mhm.
she's able to kind of turn it on its head. And to me, that's, again, someone you definitely should be following, but
I
also kind of
will.
take some lessons learned on it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have done for a long time on LinkedIn is when someone connects with me blindly, I'll like look at how I know them. Usually it's a sales, like right, like usually it's somebody reaching out for sales. And someone taught me this trick years ago. But you can tell like the soul of a person by how many recommendations they've given versus how many they've received. If they've received like 10 but given 0, that tells you something very interesting about that person.
Yes.
But if you have
Mhm.
someone who's recommended 10 people but has been recommended once themselves, that also tells you something very, very interesting about that person. So, oh
Very
yeah, and then
Love
I
that.
will go through
interesting.
their comments too. If I'm like questioning, I'm like, what have you commented on? I don't care about
Right?
your posts. I care about your comments. And if you said
Ooh,
anything rude, even remotely, we cannot be friends.
done. Okay, Ashley, that needs to go in part 2 of the LinkedIn book because I don't even get into the comments, right? Because you're right. Like, people again think social media where they can like drop negative comments or something and not have consequences for it. Well, Ashley is delivering the consequences. You cannot
I
connect
like
with
it.
her.
I
You
like
No.
are
it.
rude, right? Like there's no place for that.
Yeah.
No, not here,
No, and
not in the workplace.
I've had people be like real trolls on LinkedIn, and not very often, like once a blue moon. But like your boss can
Right.
see that if it's public. And I know there are some people who will, if it is mean enough, will go back to the employer and be like, are you aware that this person is like harassing? I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It is. I mean, you're right, Ashley. It's not. I think employers are a little bit more savvy now, right? The corporate world is
Yeah.
coming up. They're slow to adapt, but they do. Like I've heard several HR recruiters and HR people who do look at your social profiles, right? And it's not just Facebook; it's LinkedIn, all of the things to kind of get a feel for your personality. And again, that can be both good and bad, but choices have consequences.
This is really enlightening. Very enlightening. I'm loving this. So, you talk about helping clients, getting them to care, right? Get them to
Yes.
care.
Yeah.
What's one practical way that just one way, quick and simple, someone can do that today?
Get them to care. Again, it goes back to what I revealed kind of in the beginning about what
Mhm.
professionals are missing. You have to have some point of connection, right? So for companies specifically, you got to give up your and showcase your culture, right? Like I think
Mm.
people are really again not going to like you can't see the culture on indeed.com, right? If when people are looking for jobs, right? And I hope you don't. But more and more people are now going to company LinkedIn pages to kind of see, okay, what do you guys actually do?
Yeah.
What are you good at? What are you, do you help your employees and give them training? Or do you, sponsor Habitat for Humanity, right? Or if you're not putting that out there and giving me a full picture of what it's like to work for you, most people are turning away, right? So you
Yeah.
got to be able to tell that story too. And if you want me to care about your company, you got to care about me, right? So
Yeah.
where's the human element? And I also judge on, when companies are just sharing just stuff about them. I'm like, come on, selfish, right? You have to
Yeah.
share how you're partnering with other people or with other companies, right? It's
Yeah.
not just all about you, right? You have to be able to kind of interact and even make companies appear more human, right?
Yep.
On LinkedIn. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
that
super
Yeah.
was a long
fascinating.
answer,
I love
Yeah.
but
it.
being able to get in there.
So, how can companies use their company LinkedIn
Mhm.
to recruit and retain their top talent?
Ooh, and also
Or
love
maybe
this question.
are there any
Oh,
other
yes.
ways? Because it feels
Yes.
like showcasing the culture. I mean, you've
Yes.
just like created a to-do list for me. I really love it.
Right?
Same,
Yeah.
I
same,
love that,
same.
which
Yeah.
was not the point of this call because I know both of you ladies are super busy. But again, one more thing to
No,
do.
I'm
No.
thinking about all of the things that we have done together. Kristen Shiraz and Sarah, the CEO of My VA Rex, all got together in Chicago in June. And I am 100% sure that none of our fun time group planning made it onto our company's LinkedIn. It just didn't I mean it didn't occur to me.
No.
Right? No, exactly. And I think that's the point of the book is to get them to care is kind of change your mindset a little bit, right? Not to be more inclusive of everything you do with your employees or your colleagues, whatever that is, and not be afraid to share it, right? I think it's also maybe a little generational thing too. I'm like a cusp on the millennial side, but we take pictures of everything, right? Like we've always got like a million things in our phones and and born some people are now born with the phone in their hand, but they're documenting things, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of changing that mindset a little bit, like, hey, we're having a lot of fun at this company retreat, let's snap a few photos, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell a little story about it online, and in that vein, you reveal more about yourself, what you find is a priority, right? Like if I see a company page that is not taking their employees like on retreats or happy hours, those types of things, I'm like, I don't want to just be another person locked in an office sitting at a desk, right? Like I want to interact and again get a feel for what that company does and what they care about.
Yeah. We even had professional photos taken. And we haven't shared any of those on the company
Some of them
LinkedIn.
have been shared.
Alrighty.
I mean, I know a
Here
few
and there.
have made it out, but yeah, we need to that would be a good thing to create a post around, I think.
I'm very inspired.
Definitely.
I
I am
love
too.
Yes.
conversations with people like you, Julie, where like halfway through, I feel like, hey, could we just put this on pause because I have a lot to do? I'm going to
Mm,
just write it all down or like accomplish half of it. And then I'll come back to this because I know I'm going to get another big batch of things I'm going to want to tackle.
I love it. I love it, Ashley. And I think too, being able to talk with others that, really care about, wanting to improve, right? I think, getting them to care. So many people have gotten lazy, honestly, or companies have gotten lazy and not sharing and not making those real connections, whether it's on LinkedIn or in person. And sometimes we just need a reminder, right? Like, hey, we're,
Mm,
we're all here. We need to kind of reveal more about what you're doing and not be afraid to get vulnerable for sure.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
If you had to rewrite your own profile tomorrow, Julie, what would be the first thing you'd change?
Ooh, first thing I would change. I think honestly, I think I put on there that, oh, I wrote a book. Well, great. A lot of people have written books now, right? And obviously that's what we're here to talk about. But I would probably start with something that I'm very passionate about, right? When I see profiles of people that like, I'm passionate about helping people do XYZ, I'm drawn in, right? Kind of
Mhm.
that first line. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe they can help me and maybe I can help them. So that's what I would do. I would definitely put out more about what I care about and what I'm passionate about because that's what people again, they're looking for that connection. Give me something, right?
Mhm.
To draw me in so that they're not just looking saying, "Oh, okay, well she's a business owner, great. She's an author, fine." Right? No, what do you care about, right? Like let's
Yeah.
just get to it.
Well,
So,
connection is what we want as humans, right? We
yes,
want
very much so.
validation, we want connection. These are the basics of being a human being. And I think that we've n no offense, I think.
Oh, oh,
We
okay, where are you going with this?
I think women have made a great impact, I'll say it this way, on this world. I think we've made a great impact because of having conversations like this, right? Having conversations about vulnerability, and that's a superpower, and connection, and validation, and all of those kinds of things. Whereas for so long, we've been sort of divided that you don't do that at work.
Right, exactly. You
You
don't
only
show
do
up.
that over here,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
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 So I love
I
that.
have thought that the division between like work and family and home needs to dissolve for years, mostly because I don't have enough time to have three separate lives. I have time for the one and
Right.
barely that. So, I had like a hard and fast policy when my kids were really young that if we were gonna be friends, we had to like work together in some
Okay.
way. We had to, like, at least be
Yes.
in the same industry so we could help each other
Right.
out or talk to each other
Sure.
or whatever.
Yep.
You also had to have kids
Okay.
because 'cause I'm
Yep.
not doing
Well,
anything without my kids on the weekends,
done.
right?
Yes.
Um, and if it wasn't like if we couldn't marry at least those 2 things, we couldn't hang out. I just couldn't. Yeah.
Well, and Ashley, I love that you already set those boundaries as your kids were young, right? Like you made up your mind. That's what you care about, right? You prioritize your family, but you also prioritize work. That's what I'm hearing, right? And I'm like, oh, I want to be your friend, Ashley. I don't have kids, but we could work together, right?
Like kids. I like
Yes.
kids. Can I like
Yes, we
kids?
love.
I wanna
Yes.
hang
You know
out with
what?
your
Now that
kids.
my children are preteens, I feel less, dedicated to making sure that everyone I hang out with has kids because
We can all hang out together and maybe do some of the same things together, right? And still enjoy each other's company. Cause
Yes.
you're right. I mean, it to me, Ashley, too, I think it brings up the point of we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But
Mhm.
only you get to choose how you spend them, right? And how you spend your time is what you prioritize, right? And I think a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. No, no, no. You have to create the time, right?
Yeah.
We start on the same playing field, right? But how do you use your workday? How do you use your off time? And then two, hopefully putting that a little bit of that on LinkedIn, right? To kind of give people an
Yeah.
idea,
That's
right?
such
I
a good
mean,
idea. Yeah, such a
and
good
not be
idea.
afraid to.
So,
Yeah.
Julie, this section, we have kind of a lightning round. I'm going to put this out to our listeners because I've been trying to figure out we need a snappy name for this section, right?
Ooh,
We're
okay.
gonna start narrowing it down to like 3 questions, and I am not good at naming things. Although Shiraz
Okay.
is, so he
Shiraz
may have an
is
idea.
truly exceptional at
He
naming
really
things.
he's
Better than
yeah,
AI. I'm terrible at naming things.
me
Like
too.
I'm the actual worst. I gave
Me
a
too.
talk on salary negotiation for women in tech for like years and years, and the most clever title for it that I ever came up with was salary negotiation for women in tech. Yep. Yeah. That's why would we mess with perfection? It says exactly
Right.
what it is and who it's for. Why would you?
Exactly.
And conference organizers would regularly be like, what if we just rename this? Say like, thank you. I really appreciate it because that's the
Help
most
me
clever
help
thing
you.
I could come up with. I'm terrible at naming.
No, that's
So,
good.
our
I love
little
that.
lightning round.
Alrighty,
All
here we
right.
go. Here we go.
First job you ever had?
Ooh, I worked at a gas station. Actually, I was the booth girl. Okay, and I sold
Goodness.
cigarettes. Right? Can you imagine? I was 15 years old, just barely turned 15, in this little glass box. Cigarettes were what, 1.99? So do the math, guys. A 1.99 a pack. I'm older than I look, right? And I actually loved it. The guys at the gas station worked on my car for free. Like once I learned to drive, it was the perfect job. So yeah,
That's awesome.
gas station.
That's awesome. Okay, I won't do this with every question, but Ashley,
Okay,
what was
yeah.
your first job?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, I established a dog walking business in my apartment
Oh,
building
of
in
course you
Chicago.
did.
And that was
Of
still
Right?
course you did.
that was still the most lucrative thing
Of
I've ever
course you
done.
did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I
I love
worked at
it.
Little Caesars.
Oh my gosh, Little
Yeah.
Caesar. Dee, dee, dee,
Pizza,
dee.
They
pizza.
I worked at Little Caesars, and then years later, they came back, and it was some federal agency that was like, "Did you know that your 20-year-old store manager was skimming off of all of your checks?" I was like,
What?
"No. How would I know that?"
That's
Right?
awful.
That's
Yeah,
crazy,
it's so
actually.
crazy.
So
Anyway,
did they pay you? What
I
happened?
don't remember. It was a long time ago, and I was making minimum
Wow.
wage. So, I mean,
Right?
this was
So that's
Yeah, and
even
how
more
can
egregious. Who steals from someone making minimum wage? Oh my goodness.
Awful.
How are you working in a
Awful.
huge corporation and you decide to steal down, not up? There's
Oh, I mean,
Exactly. Right,
this
and
is
steal
what
from employees. Like,
this is what
right.
happens
for the
when you
people
have
who are right in front of you. That's so bad. It's so bad.
also drug addicted. So, I mean, it was a whole
Mhm.
thing. It was a whole thing. Anyway,
Still. Yes. Okay.
can you think off the top of your head of a book that you wish you'd written?
Love the book The One Thing. It's
Oh, it's so
actually,
good.
don't you love that? Like it just
Yeah.
really helps you focus on, again, what is your priority? What is the one thing, right, that you care about? And that's kind of your through line through your life, right? Obviously we go up and down all the things, but that book, honestly, I still go back and read it. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Kristen, if
Marks
you
and
haven't read it, it
Americans.
basically is
Go
this
ahead.
way to organize the way you think about your to-do list. You look at your to-do
I
list and you
am
say,
writing it down.
what is the one thing that you can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? And it's such a good way. And actually, that was the start of me thinking differently about a
Ooh,
to-do list. Now
okay.
I feel very strongly that um as you go through your career, you have to ditch your to-do list because we're accustomed to measuring our own productivity in a task-based way because we all
Yes.
started our careers doing task-based things. All of our
Correct.
productivity was measured task-based. But as you move up in an organization, you start to get paid for strategic thinking. And
Yes.
strategic thinking doesn't fit into that sort of neat box of a to-do list. They're at odds. And so if you don't give yourself
Yeah.
time for big strategic thinking, it never gets done. And if you're focused on the to-do list. So the one thing was like what can you do today that would make everything else on here easier or unnecessary was the
Nice.
first time that I was like, all right, they're certainly not all equal. And this is how I'm gonna hold myself to task. No, I love it.
I will look
Right?
into it. That's
Great
awesome.
book.
So, okay,
Definitely.
final question here. What's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
one thing that you hope people say when they look at your LinkedIn?
That I'm a connector, right? I don't have okay, so I don't have a lot of connections, right? Honestly, I don't even have 2,500 connections because I value quality over quantity. So when I get those random requests, Ashley, that say Julie M, I want to be your friend or I want to connect with you, I do that on purpose in my name so that I know, okay, my name's not Julie M, it's Julie. Julie M is my middle initial,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's right away where I'm like, oh, spam, spam, spam. But honestly,
That's
too,
so
like,
clever.
right? Put that fun fact, a little hot tip in your profile at your first name, Ashley, and then put your, I don't know if you want to put Quintal Powell or just Q, I don't know, so that you can tell right away if it's spam or not. So hot tip.
That
I
is such a
like
good tip.
that.
One, Kristen's doing some outreach, and it is really hard when everyone else is being spammed by bots, and poor Kristen is like, no, I'm a real person.
Right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Just you look really interesting. I
Yeah.
would love to connect.
But this honestly has given me some great things to think about and some ways to take my messaging and even make it more authentic and to zhuzh up my
Ooh, a
LinkedIn.
zhuzh.
So zhuzh is one of
I
my
love that. I know. I'm
favorite
like zhuzh,
words in
zhuzh.
the world.
It is one of
Um,
my favorite words.
so this has been great. I absolutely love this. Julie, thank you so much for spending this time with us. This
For
has been
sure.
really great.
Julie, how do
Thank
people
you.
find you on LinkedIn?
Julie M. Wanzer, business at Lead AP, Business Rewritten. And you can get the book at getthemtocare.com. Got ebook versions, all the things, and would love to connect with you guys and help you tell your stories online because it's super important.
Well,
Amazing.
look for a connection from me today.
Yes, I'm done. I'm here. You're not spam, Kristen. I got you. Like
Good.
you're coming into the family. We're part of the
Awesome.
connections. Thank you, ladies. I really
This has
enjoyed
been
this.
so
Thank
much
you.
fun. Thank you for
So
joining
fun.
us.
Thanks.
Thank you. Take care.
Julie, thank you for being here. This was so good.
It really was good. And if you are listening and you're thinking, I have a story to tell too, whether it's a podcast or an audio book, or you need help promoting your current book, that's kind of what we do at myaudio.rock. So we'll help you sound as good as you look on LinkedIn as you get your LinkedIn page all zhuzhed up.
Exactly. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time on Authors Aloud.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.